Gear Acquirement Syndrome. You guys, we're going to talk about gas. That's what we're going to talk about today. So, I have a lot of conversations with new photographers, and they think that the gear is everything. They think that the gear, oh, I don't have an FX3, so I can't make videos as good as you, and that's why my business is not as successful as yours. Or, oh, I don't have this. So, there's all these limiting beliefs around people and their gear. People are so attached to the gear, and it drives me crazy. I've had enough. It drives me up a fucking wall. Here's the deal, guys. If I were the first camera I ever was paid for with a real estate shoot was I used an 80D and then I used a 10 to 18 millimeter Canon lens, one of those EFS lenses. Maybe it was an EF lens. I don't know. And I needed a backup camera because I had to send a camera in, and I used an 80D one day, and this wasn't that long ago. The realtors had no fucking idea. They had no idea. This is a camera that was released in like 2018, 2019. I mean, let's look this up. When was Canon 80D? Canon 80D release date. Let's give it a Google. 2016. 2016. That was 8 years ago, guys. 9 years ago. Oh my gosh. 9-year-old technology. And yet people think that they need the newest Nikon, whatever, that's the FX3 killer, or they need the A7R, whatever. You don't need 20 million pixels, guys. These photos that you're shooting, they need to just look professional, but they're ending up on the MLS. These are not magazine quality photos. Now, if you want to get different types of clients, like architecture clients or like high-end staging and design clients, right? These people might require a little bit different gear. But guess what? I don't know where you are in your local market, but you can rent whatever piece of fucking gear that you want. Whatever piece of gear, right? If you want to go get that newest tech, guess what? You don't need to buy it. You can rent it for a day. Okay? So don't let the fact that you don't have the top gear prevent you from stopping what your goals are in life. Okay. And I feel like no, I don't feel. I know that people use the fact that they don't have gear as an excuse to not put in the work because they're just afraid. People are genuinely afraid, so it's easier to have an excuse than it is to put in the work. I know that for a fact. 100%. Why? Because I fucking did it for years. I did it for years. I was a realtor and I hated it, right? But I would take all of my own photos and I would take people's photos in my office and I enjoyed it. But I didn't want to start or run my business because I always thought, oh, I'm not good enough. But dude, people are literally paying me. I'm using my own photos. I'm getting compliments. Again, that was with a Rebel T5 when I was doing that. That's crazy. So I want to just talk about gear acquirement syndrome today. Just that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to have a whole long conversation about this. So, gear is half the battle, but it's not the war. So, when you're looking at your real estate business, photography isn't even really like it's a component of what you're doing, right? You need to ask yourself, like, how fast are you delivering the photos? What do your final edits look like? What other additional services are you offering, right? Do you have the capacity to do more? Like, let's say, can you do video? Um, can you help them design their website, right? Can you, like, what? Can you do their headshots? How can you integrate yourself as a media partner into their business, right? That's what you need to start thinking about because there's so much more valuable things that we can do with our camera for somebody who's a real estate professional that's way more than photography. Because what you have to ask yourself, when all the photography gigs dry up, what else can you do for these agents? Well, what we do website design, we do virtual assistant services, we do lead generation services, we do headshots, annual headshots. Um, that's just to name a few. So you need to ask yourself and just take a step back for a second from your business and just say, like, what am I not doing? Because again, I'm gonna just explain this until I'm fucking blue in the face. You can rent whatever gear you want. I mean, I'm fortunate where I am shooting on FX3 right now. I have all the top G Master Sony glass. Well, I have all the previous G Master Sony glass. I got a lot of my Sony glass like 5 years ago. So they have like the second and maybe I don't think they have the third version of the same lenses that I have, but like my 16 to 35, it's not the Mark II, it's the Mark One, and that's good enough. If it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. Okay? You don't need to go drop 10, 20, $30,000 to get this business going. Okay? Maybe along the road when you actually have revenue coming in, you can justify those purchases. But I have a student, he spent $10,000 on all new gear and he can't get a single fucking client. Not until he talked to me. He's like, yeah, I spent $9,800 on this glass, these filters, extra batteries. I got the new drone so I can shoot FPV. Then I got the other drone so I can. Guys, he did all that before he ever even landed his first client. He had somebody in passing say, hey, I like your work. He was using his college's gear. So then he took it upon himself to get an Amex and then spend all this money on gear. And now he doesn't know what the fuck to do. Don't be him. Utilize the tools around you, right? The truth is, I was saying earlier, I was scared to get started in my business, but I could probably start, not probably, why am I saying probably? I could 100% start my business today by just using a cell phone. I could literally walk into a home. Now, if the realtor was there, they'd be like, why the hell are you using a phone? I could just do it myself using my phone. There is something to say about having really nice looking gear in a nice backpack because it can, you can kind of justify your expenses. I get compliments. I use like a wandered bag, and I also sometimes bring like I have like a Pelican case. And when they see those things, they're like, "That's a nice bag. That's a nice case." And then I break it open, and it's all organized. And I got the microphones, I got the bodies, and I got the lenses, and I have the filters. They're like, "Man, this guy's a professional." So they feel good about spending money. So there is something to that. I will agree. But again, gear is not the end all be all. It is a component. What else are you doing in your business, right? Are you offering floor plans? Are you offering virtual staging? Are you offering item removal? What are you offering? What can't the person who they're currently working with do that you can? This is what we call a USP, a unique selling proposition, right? You need to uniquely propagate yourself. You need to position yourself uniquely within their business and say, hey, I can do this, this, and this for you. Right? Build trust. People do business with people that they know, that they like, and that they trust. And here's another thing about video, right? I shoot on an FX3, right? The king of all kings of it's like a pocket cinema camera. The thing is flipping awesome. The dynamic range is crazy. The 12,800 ISO, right? The dual native ISO is just insane. I love it. It's a great camera. It doesn't really matter how great of a camera is because when you take these videos and you put them online, they get compressed anyway. So they end up looking like they were shot on an iPhone. Really. I mean, yeah, guys, I understand that you can get certain lenses and make cinematic looks. You can do things like that. Like I'm very aware of that. I understand that you can get more dynamic range, right, than an iPhone. I get that, but I'm saying the actual video is compressed, right? These are just tools. These are tools of the trade. Tools of the trade. In most houses, here's the deal. They don't require you to have the new DJI RS4 Pro with the FX3, and then you got the LiDAR and blah, blah, blah. None of that matters. With the DJI Mic 3, oh my God. No, they don't. Most of these houses, they don't require that. Now, if you're going to be shooting multi-million-dollar properties, guys, yes, your gear does need to it needs to match, right? You can't be mismatched. You can't be bringing a Canon 80D into a $20 million house, right? You should be going to your local photo place, renting the gear, and then using that gear, right? There should be some parallels here. But the truth is, most homes are average. So just using the average gear is fine. Like using an A6000. What are those? Is that what are they? Yeah, the 6000 series. My buddy has a 6600. Is that a camera, an A6600? And he uses one of those I cannot remember. Is it Syrah? But he uses like a 0D 10 millimeter lens. He uses a Sony A7 or a Sony A6000 A66000 camera with Samyang. Yeah, Samyang. That's what it is. 10 millimeter. That's it. He's one of my subcontractors. I mean, I don't send him gigs all the time because he has a full-time job, but on the side, I feel comfortable sending him that gear. And I shoot with an A7R series. Like we're not gonna get into all my gear, but gear acquirement syndrome is bullshit. That it's FOMO. It's keeping up with the Joneses. If you have a competent editor in Vietnam, they can make they can make raw photos pretty much look like they came out of whatever camera that you want them to. So you need to make sure that your framing is right. You need to make sure that your settings are correct on your camera. So let's go over settings quick, right? Oh, you also need to make sure your tripod height is right. You need to make sure that you're cleaning up and prepping the house before you ever even shoot. Some people just shoot as is and they don't care about anything. They also just leave their tripod on a fixed height. So guys, you need to start standing out. Set yourself apart. Get better at composition. Get better at telling the house's story. Don't worry so much about gear acquirement. Oh, I got to get this gear. I got to get that gear. I got to get that. No, you don't. No, you don't. I mean, yeah, if you get a whale and they want to start using you, obviously, and they send you to a $10 million house, yeah, that's fine. Like go and rent gear that matches what you're, trying to accomplish. Or if you want to go build your portfolio, right? Let's say you just have some crappy little camera. You can go and rent gear, go and build your portfolio, and then start marketing yourself. Because the truth is, unless you have gigs, you don't have shit. You have nothing. You have a hobby. Until you can prove to yourself without a shadow of a doubt that you can get consistent bookings, don't spend that $10,000. Don't be like one of my students, because now I have to dig him out of a hole. Well, he's paying me to dig him out of a hole, so I'm grateful that he trusts me. But guys, $10,000 is a big hole. It's a huge hole. Don't do it. And again, all the images are compressed. When they go on the MLS, they're tiny, right? All the videos that end up on YouTube, they look like they were all shot out of an iPhone. You guys probably have no idea that this video was shot on an FX3 in 4K. Because why? It gets rendered down into 1080p on DaVinci, and then fucking, guys, YouTube compresses it. Don't worry about gear acquirement syndrome. If there's a will, there's a way. Okay? So, what you need to do, let's just talk about what you need. You need to just pass the sniff test. You need the very bare minimum. So, as I said earlier, I have photographers who I subcontract work out for who use crop sensor Sony cameras that they picked up for under $500 and the lens under $500. That's literally $1,000. $1,000 total dollars. They're all in. That includes their tripod. That includes their memory cards. That includes the extra battery. That includes their lens and their body. Right? Now, I'm not sending them out on my. So we have a couple of different packages. We have like the gold package, we have the bronze package, and the platinum package. And then we also have a la carte. I'm sending them out just on the a la carte stuff, right? So if somebody wants floor plans and photos, I send out the photographer who has, I feel comfortable sending out the guy who just has a crop sensor camera. Now, if somebody books a video shoot and it's a $10 million property and they also want to get photos and drone, well, I have to send out a certified drone pilot, and then I'm going to send out people who have at the very, very least like an A7 III at the very least. And that might even be a little bit too old technology for some of my clients, because my clients are expecting my work. So if somebody doesn't have at least my gear or better or equivalent, then I can't send them out to, because you guys, these realtors, they're trusting you with their brand and their business. So if they look at your website and what you deliver doesn't match what they're expecting, then you're gonna one, fuck up the relationship, but two, you're never gonna get another booking. It's not good for business. So don't lie about your capacity and capabilities. Don't ever do that. But maybe partner with somebody in your local market that has an ability to do video, and you can just handle the photos and he handles the video. People do that all the time. I know a guy down in Florida who he that's what he does. He's like, I'm just a video guy. I teamed up with a real estate photography company and all they did was photos. And it's kind of a match made in heaven because they can offer my services at the price that I want, which is cheaper than what they would have had to do it because I edit all my own videos and I shoot all my own stuff. So if you're self-produced, you can lower the cost a little bit because you're not sending it out to be edited and things like that, and you also don't have marketing costs to acquire new customers, things like that. So just you need to just sit and you need to think about where you're at in your photography, or stop calling yourself. You're not a photographer, by the way. You're a marketer. You're a business owner. So you need to think about yourself, like where are you at with your skills? Where are you at with your gear? And then if you aren't where you want to be, but you still want to pursue higher end clients, the best thing that you can do is attach yourself to somebody who's already like kind of where you want to be, right? In Texas, for example, there are so many skilled videographers. Okay? So many skilled videographers. It's actually wild. And there's some pretty good photographers too. But what I've done is I've been to Texas just a few times. Why do I choose Texas as a secondary market? Because their real estate market is kind of year round, and where my primary market is Minneapolis. And like I said, it drops off right around this time. I mean, we're still really busy this month, thank God, but way busier than I thought we'd be. Uh, and that might be because the interest rates are dropping, things like that. But um, what I've done is I've partnered with people who already have established media businesses, and then we're going to take my credibility plus their credibility and kind of marry them and then market to local agents. Okay? So I never misrepresent what kind of work that I can do, because even though it's not me working and doing the video, it's somebody else. Maybe it's not me doing the photos. Maybe it's I'm subcontracting out because obviously I'm in the Philippines. But I am doing the marketing. I am doing the cold outreach. I am sending the DMs. I'm having a virtual assistant in the Philippines reach out to all Texas realtors with offers, with guarantees, and in nurturing those relationships and just seeing where we can get in. I have this saying, I say, get in where we can fit in. So if somebody already has an extremely established relationship with a real estate media company, I don't try to integrate and steal their clients unless, big caveat, unless I see that there's a limit in what they're currently offering, their like what they're currently doing. Like if they're just doing photos, dude, I call those people all the time. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? I say words like fiduciary duty. I say, is that would I say, let me ask you a question, Mr. Realtor. If you were to have a video, do you think that you'd get more or less viewers on your listing? They say, yes, more. And I say, well, isn't your fiduciary responsibility to your client to get as many eyes on that property as possible? Yes, that is my fiduciary duty because I am an agent, sir. How did you know that? If you have to speak their language, guys, they don't speak in megapixels, they speak in fucking real estate. So you need to start looking at yourself. If you want to work in real estate photography, you need to start thinking like a realtor. Okay? If you were going to market this property and have the best chance for it to sell in this right now, we're not in like a buyer's market, but we're certainly not in a seller's market. I think that a lot of realtors, probably a lot of real estate photographers probably got started. I would say a lot of people during COVID, a lot of people saw like Eli Jones, like he's pushing all these courses and making it seem like anybody can do this with a camera. But that's not true. I think like a lot of people can get like gigs and bookings, but they can't get consistent business because they don't think like realtors. They don't know anything about real estate and they barely know anything about photography. So, guys, you need to start thinking about how do realtors think in terms of their marketing. They don't really give a shit about the photos. You guys, they don't even use the photos to sell the house. They use the photos to sell themselves to the next client. They go, wow, look what I can do. This is what I can do for you. Pick me as your real estate agent. Give me 6% commission. And they use our work to do that. So you are a marketer. So you need to offer additional services outside of photography. If you think that this is like some artsy fartsy business, you need to stop, because that's not what it is. You either need to quit doing this as a business or shift your mindset. Severely shift your mindset. The day that I quit calling myself a photographer is the day I started making money. Hand to God. I literally, if people go, "What do you do for a living?" I work in marketing. I work in real estate marketing. They go, "Oh, what do you do?" I go, "Oh, I build websites. I design floor plans. I make videos, 360 tours. We do, we even can do item removal. We do photos. We do videos. We do video business cards. We do headshots. We add virtual assistant services." So those are just a couple of the services that I offer my clients. I don't give a fuck about what new gear just came out. I give a fuck about how can I add and contribute to this person's business, right? My whole entire team of VAs, there's 200 and I don't even know anymore. I think it's 240 something. It was 234 last week. We're flying. We call them the value adders. We have a private Facebook page. You guys can look this shit up. It's all real. I started doing this like 3-4 years ago. And yeah, my theory on business is if you want to work in a service-based business like we are working, I call it a reoccurring service-based business. What you want to do is you want, no matter what, when push comes to shove, when these people need work, they're going to reach out to you on a reoccurring basis every single time they need the service. It's the best. Real estate photography is the best photography gig going because the average client for us is worth well over $10,000 in their lifetime value. Whereas when I was doing weddings, I was a wedding videographer before this. It was one and done. Maybe a referral, maybe. Maybe. But what's great about real estate is I can incentivize realtors to refer them, like refer me to their brokerage, refer me to other agents in their office, things like that. Whereas like if you can't really incentivize somebody for a wedding, like nobody gets married. Like, I mean, some people do get married twice, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking about, if you incentivize a realtor and say, "Hey, I'll give you 50% off your next video if you refer me to somebody in your office. If you introduce me to 3 people, I will do this, this, and this." You need to think about lifetime value. You need to think about value add. You need to think about their business as if it's your own business. And you need to stop thinking about gear. Because check this out, even me to this day, I still go and rent gear. I still do. Like, I don't own a 50 millimeter 1.2 lens. I don't. But if I get booked and we're going to be doing like a talking head video, or we're going to be doing, we got to get some close ups of like a really expensive property, I still go and I rent gear. I price it in when I give the quote to these people. But guys, you don't need to acquire every single piece of gear. The problem isn't the gear, the problem is you. So always remember that, right? Gear is just a part of the war. It's just the battle. It's not the whole thing. You need to just position yourself within the industry and ask yourself, how can I, like, what else can I do? Obviously, you need gear to be able to do like a 360 camera. Obviously, you need the base level gear to be able to do video. But guess what? Anyone can get one of those little handheld Osmo pocket little Osmos, attach their phone to it, right? And you can make a video on your cell phone nowadays. Really. So you don't need the FX3. You don't need the DJI RS4 Pro. You don't need the Mavic 4 Pro. You don't. You know what we use? Dude, we use the Mavic Mini Pros. That's all we do. We use Mavic Minis. I don't, but my subcontractors do. It's good enough. Good enough. I used a Mavic Mavic 2, a Mavic Air 2. I don't know, is that what it's called? In a pinch one time because my Mavic 3 crashed and I had to get it replaced. So I was, between drones and I used my old drone. Nobody could tell the difference. There's nothing more liberating in business knowing that your systems and your processes are, and your self-development, that is all bigger contributing factors into your business versus what kind of gear that you have. So I mean, I always think about it like this. Like my favorite television shows, my favorite movies were made with old technology that my technology could blow it out of the water, but I still couldn't produce those that same level of television because I'm not talented in other areas, right? Like I don't have the script writing. I don't have the systems and processes to produce a television show. So, but I do have the systems and I do have the processes to run a very competent real estate media business. I am not a real estate photographer. I'm a real estate media producer. So I know how to communicate with realtors. Communication with realtors is probably one of the most important things. If you don't speak the realtor's language, they're not going to have any built-in trust with you. If you say things like fiduciary duty, or you say things like, oh, do you have any listings in your pipeline? Or just using their language, they're going to go, oh shit, this is who I want on my team. Because they look at their business as a business, right? They want consistency. Because again, how do they use your photos? They use it in a listing presentation. Sure, they put it on the MLS and blah, 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 and hopefully the property sells, right? They also print it on flyers and then they blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, realtors use your marketing and your media, right? Your photos, your videos, blah, blah, all that stuff. They use it for their next listing when they're sitting down with a home seller and the home seller says, what can you do for me? And they go, this is what I can do for you. And they open up a book with all their past listings, right? And who took those photos? Your company or my company, right? And guess what? The more marketing materials that we can give them. So what else do we offer? We offer things like single property websites, right? We offer things like social media reels. We offer slideshows. We offer templates for just listed template like flyers or about this home flyers or just sold. So we offer an entire suite of products. It is not just real estate photography. And if you think on a one-to-one basis, I just want you to think about this. If you and the guy next to you, you guys are competition, right? You guys are competing against each other. You both have both A7 R5s, both of you. You both have Sony G Master 16 to 35 Mark II, right? You both have the most sturdy tripod that's ever existed, right? You both have one to one, right? The same composition, everything, right? Same price. How else can you compete with that person? That's how you need to start thinking. Can you deliver the photos faster? Can you offer additional services? Are you a better communicator? Are you nicer? Do you have a team where you can say, hey, we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? I can say that. We are a 24/7 service. How is that even possible? Well, the way that it's possible is through virtual assistants in Vietnam and the Philippines. When I go to bed at night, there is somebody in the Philippines or Vietnam editing the photos. And if for whatever reason we get a booking in the middle of the night, we also have automated responses saying, hey, thanks for your booking. Here is a way. We have a home prep guide that we send to people, and we want to make sure that we're communicating 3-4 times before the actual shoot. We reach out, we confirm, hey, is there anything that you guys, you need to have top tier customer service. So I'm just trying to illustrate a picture for you. Let's say you have better customer service, you can deliver the photos faster, and you have other ancillary services that you can provide that this person, you both have the exact same gear. You even have the same quality photos, same everything. Who the fuck are they going to choose? They're going to choose the person who can do a lot more for them. So you need to start looking at your business as a business. You're not just a photographer. Stop with that malarkey. It's bullshit. Okay? My God. Okay? All right. I'm going to give you guys a little bit more game and then I'm going to wrap this thing up real nice. So, Gear Acquirement Syndrome is real. I get it every single time a new product comes out. Dude, I bought the I bought the Insta360 X5. A great camera, but I don't really even use it. I actually use my GoPro Hero 11 more than I use my Insta360. The Insta360 is cool, but it's like a specific tool, right? Sometimes you have a hammer, and sometimes you have a jackhammer. Sometimes you have a screwdriver. So you need to buy the tools that are required for the job. Don't get caught up in the FOMO shit. But here's a little piece of advice for when you do start buying gear. Have the end in mind. Do not do what I did. I bought, this is what I did. I started buying things like when I'd buy a tripod, I would go on Amazon and I would just buy the cheapest tripod, like a Geek Odo tripod. And then it would break. And then I'd go buy another one. And then eventually I bought like my Peak Design travel tripod, carbon fiber one, right? It was like $600 or $700. And at the time I was like, that's so expensive. Which even to this day, I mean, it's a moderately priced piece of camera gear because I mean, there's a lot more expensive pieces of gear, but it's wonderful. And it's definitely made up. I've made way more than $600 off of it and it still looks brand new. I've never had any issues with it versus that Geek Oda one. I probably spent around $600 buying the cheap gear. You know what I mean? So buy nice or buy twice is something that I live by to this day. So if you want to start shooting video, buy the FX3. Skip the A7S3, skip the A7R4, skip the A7R5, skip the Sony A1, skip it all. Skip the A9, skip it all. Buy the FX3. This is a forever camera. An FX3 is a forever camera. Okay? Yeah, I know that other technology is going to come out. I'm aware of that. But this piece of equipment will be able to be, it'll be competent and relevant for decades to come. Mark my words on this video. The same way the A7 III, right? The A7 III to this day is still a great real estate photography camera. It's a great camera. Now, yeah, is there better IBIS? Yes. Is there better eye tracking? Yes, in the newer cameras. Yes, all this stuff is true. But I'm telling you, things are timeless for a reason. Okay? Buy the timeless stuff. Have the end in mind. Have the end in mind. And also another thing, when you buy expensive gear, right? If you buy expensive camera equipment, if you buy an expensive drone and you realize I don't need that drone. I don't want that drone anymore. Well, the resale price is much higher than if you were to just buy the cheap version. So like let's say you were to buy just a regular Mavic on the resale market or a regular like DJI Mavic 3. Well, that thing only can resell for like maybe $1,000. But let's say you bought the Pro. One, it can sell way more in the aftermarket. So it'll hold its value for a lot longer. But also, if you would have bought the Pro, you would have opened yourself up to an entire new market of types of like production, whether it's you're shooting videos on the drone or you're shooting photos, right? So you can target a higher end client like architects or whoever. So just have that in mind. Have the end in mind, and then also buy nice or buy twice. Don't waste all your money on gear and put it on a credit card unless you have a proven system where you can get consistent clients every single month. That's like my biggest piece of advice when it comes to gear is learn how to get consistent clients and don't get tricked by the marketing. I still get tricked, guys. I got tricked by Insta360. God damn, their marketing is so fucking good. It's so good. Damn, they're good. And you need to look at them. They're not a camera company. Everybody thinks that they're a fucking camera company. They're not. They're a software and accessory company who happens to sell cameras to support the accessories that they sell. They're an accessory company. So you need to look at yourself. You are not a photography company. You're a marketing company who happens to offer photography. Okay? Stop with the gear acquirement syndrome. Guys, that was podcast number 2, Gear Acquirement Syndrome, why it's a scam. I love you guys so much. If you want, jump on a free 30-minute call. You guys, free 30-minute call. What is the point of this 30-minute call? Whatever you want. Whatever you want to ask me. Whatever you want to ask me. And if you don't and you haven't already, go to my website. It's cineminn.com/photography standards, or just go to cineminn.com, cineminn.com, go to the about section and click on photography standards, and it'll tell you exactly what kind of gear that you need, right? The bare minimum, right? You need a 16 millimeter or equivalent lens. You need a camera with at least 16 megapixels. You need, like, you guys, stop with the gear acquirement syndrome. Focus on your composition and focus on how you can beat your competition. That's my only advice to you. And then buy nice or buy twice. Don't put shit on a credit card unless, of course, you have a proven method of getting consistent clients. And also, you don't need the top gear. You guys, even the biggest studios in the entire world, they still rent their gear. The biggest people rent their gear. So if renting gear isn't, you know, something that they're not like, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you. That's all I'm trying to say. Guys, I love you. Take care. Take advantage of that 30-minute consultation and then smash that like button. I don't make these videos for free. It's not easy to do this, to get in front of the camera. I have a fan blowing on me because it's freaking hot. I'm in the Philippines and the air conditioning is 10 times as loud as that. So ignore the sweat. I love you guys. I hope you love yourself. Take care of yourself and take care of your business. Remember, your net worth will never outgrow your self worth. So until you can start to love yourself and show up every single day and be your biggest champion and stop breaking promises to yourself, clean up your diet, go to the gym, get on the phone, do things that make you uncomfortable, right? When you worry about things like gear, that to me is a sign of procrastination. That is a sign that somebody's not working on their business. That's a sign of somebody who's making excuses for why they're not where they want to be. And that's what we call a lack of accountability. So, guys, good luck on your business. I love you. Again, take care. Bye. See you on the next one.